You know, the world is celebrating Valentine's Day. I want to give y'all a little history of Valentine's Day and the origin of it. There was a guy, Saint Valentine. The Catholic Church believes that there was a guy, Saint Valentine, who was martyred when Emperor Claudius II was reigning in Rome. The emperor decided that single men made better soldiers than married men with families. So he put out a decree that all the youth, the young men, were not to be married, so you could be drafted for the army and to be soldiers. To be a strong soldier, you couldn't have any family ties. So he put out a decree over all of Rome that none of the youth, none of the young men could be married. Well, Saint Valentine thought this was unjust, and he went against the decree and he started marrying couples secretly. And once Claudius II, of course, found out, he was martyred. I think he was beheaded, I think. So people commemorate this day in honor of Saint Valentine for marrying couples. Other stories suggest that Valentine may have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape harsh Roman prisons. Valentine, they said that according to a legend, when he was in prison, Valentine actually sent the verse Valentine. He sent the first Valentine greeting himself to one of the young ladies that used to visit him. It was possibly the jailer's daughter. He was in love with the young girl at jail. He was in love with her. Even though he was in jail, this guy was in love with this woman, and he would send her letters and he would say, "From your Valentine." And people still use that phrase today on their little candy hearts, on their little secret whatever, "From your Valentine." But he used to write letters to her because he was so in love with her. It is also while some believe that Valentine's Day is celebrated in the middle of February to commemorate his death, others claim that the Christian church may have decided to place St. Valentine's Day feast in the middle of February in effort to Christianize the pagan celebration called Lupercalia. We talked about this last week, how February is a festival of fertility to Rome and the Greek gods. February is the month that they celebrate the fertility god. So Christians tried to Christianize this feast and put Valentine's in February so we can have a Christian pagan celebration. We in the last days, y'all. We in that clay and iron. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Do not live by it. That's all I'm saying. Who cares if you go to dinner tonight? Who cares if you get something? Who cares if you're wearing red today? Why live by it? People are legit hurt if they don't get nothing for Valentine's Day. They legit break up over pagan. Come on, y'all. Pagan literally means without God. So here we have celebrations set up by people who don't have God, and we live by it and offend it. I'm not preaching yet. I'm just going, yo, man, miss me, man. Happy Valentine's Day or whatever. Jesus is Lord. I said Jesus is Lord. I said Jesus is Lord, and he's the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. So celebrate Jesus today. Celebrate his love for us today, because that's the only love that never changes. That's the only love that loved you before you even loved him.